Ready to dive into some really cool stuff.
Let's do it.
Today we're tackling artificial general intelligence,
Okay.
or AGI for short.
Right.
We're talking about machines that can think like people,
Yeah, like actually think.
not just, follow instructions.
Right, exactly. And for this deep dive, we've got insights from Peter Voss.
Yeah, this guy's a serious innovator.
Oh, absolutely. What's remarkable about him is he doesn't just understand the tech. He sees the whole picture of where AI came from and where it's going.
I like that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He reminds us that the goal has always been about more than just making machines do tricks. It's about making them think like us.
So true.
Yeah.
But, how do we get from that to, AI mostly just winning at chess or writing those marketing emails I keep getting?
It's a good question. And Voss actually has a name for that kind of AI. Narrow AI. It's like Deep Blue. You know that computer that beat Garry Kasparov at chess?
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Super impressive, but it's not really thinking like a person thinks.
Right. It's just really good at chess.
Exactly.
And it's so interesting because Voss and his crew actually came up with the term AGI.
Oh, wow.
Back in 2002.
They were ahead of the game.
They knew that we needed to be talking about more than just narrow AI.
It was a whole different ballgame they were after.
Exactly. But here's the thing. Voss also has some criticisms of how AI is being developed today.
Yeah, he does. He's concerned about all this brute force.
Brute force.
Like throwing tons of computing power and data at a problem and just hoping it works.
Oh.
He makes this crazy analogy. Imagine if your brain needed a nuclear power plant to run.
Whoa.
That's how much energy some of these AI models eat up.
That's wild. And
Yeah.
it makes you wonder, is that really the best way to do this?
Yeah, exactly. Voss doesn't think so. He points out another big problem, real-time learning.
Okay.
You can show a kid a new toy and boom, they get it, they start playing.
Right, right.
But today's AI, to learn something new, it's like you gotta feed it a whole library.
That's a really good point. We learn so effortlessly.
We really do.
So what does Voss suggest we do instead?
He's all about this third wave of AI.
Okay.
Instead of just brute force, he says, we need to learn from how humans learn.
I like it.
Making connections, figuring things out without needing tons of data.
So AI that's more like us.
Yeah.
Instead of just processing, it's understanding.
Right. And it can make judgments, be creative, all that good stuff.
So what do you think? Are we on the right track with AI development? Or is it all a bit much?
Well, it's a trip, right? Because Voss is super optimistic about all this.
Yeah, he really is. Even with these challenges, he's convinced AGI can solve huge problems.
Exactly. And I love how he explains it.
Yeah.
He paints this picture, right? Imagine 1 million AI cancer researchers all working at once, sharing everything they find instantly.
Now, that would be incredible.
It'd be like human progress on fast forward.
No kidding. But it's not just about curing diseases, is it?
Nope. Voss gets really into this whole personal AI thing.
3 times.
3 times personal. I know, it's kind of funny, but he's onto something. Each personal emphasizes a different level of awesome these AI assistants could have.
Okay, so break it down for me. What's the first personal about?
Ownership. Your AI isn't some tech company's puppet. It works for you and you alone.
That's huge. So it's not like spying on you or anything.
Exactly. No more creepy data collection. It's all about your needs.
I like the sound of that.
And that brings us to the second personal, hyper-personalization.
Whoa, what does that even mean?
This AI learns everything about you, what you like, what you need, what you're thinking.
That's reading your mind.
Kinda, except
Okay.
it helps you make better decisions, not just knows what you're thinking about.
So it's like having a super smart advisor with you all the time.
Basically, it's like having a sidekick who always has your back and helps you be your best.
Okay, I'm sold on the first 2 personals, but what about the third?
The third personal is all about privacy. You're in total control of your data.
Okay, that's important. So you get to decide what it knows and what it does with that information.
Exactly. No more worrying about your info ending up who knows where.
This whole personalized AI thing is blowing my mind a little bit.
Right. It's like something straight out of sci-fi. But here's where Voss gets even more interesting. He thinks these AIs won't just make our lives easier.
Okay.
He thinks they'll make us better people.
Now, hold on. How can a machine make us better people?
Think about how often we mess up just because we're emotional.
Oh, all the time.
We say things we regret, make impulsive decisions.
Ugh, tell me about it.
AI, on the other hand, is all logic, right?
Yeah, they don't really have feelings, do they?
Exactly. They can look at things objectively, help us see the bigger picture.
So it's like having a calm voice of reason, always there to guide us.
Precisely. It's not about taking away our choices.
Right.
It's about giving us the best possible info so we make better ones.
Interesting.
Voss thinks this could lead to a more thoughtful, ethical world.
It's a pretty wild idea, I gotta say.
It is. But think about it.
I am.
Less drama, more understanding, maybe even a little more kindness.
Now that's something I think we could all use a little more of.
For sure. And who knows, maybe AI is the key.
Maybe you're right. So we've talked about the good, but we got to talk about the
The what ifs, the maybes.
yeah, the potential downsides of AGI.
The flip side.
Right. When machines can think for themselves, that's some powerful stuff.
No doubt. And Voss gets that. He doesn't shy away from the tough questions.
So what are some of the ethical things he's worried about?
Well, one that freaks people out is this idea of AI, like, copying our consciousness.
Like building a robot version of you.
Not even a robot, just like an AI that sounds exactly like you.
Oh, wow.
Thinks like you, acts like you, but you didn't agree to it.
That's creepy. Just because it can be done doesn't mean it should.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
who owns that? Do you own your digital self?
That's a good question.
Right.
Yeah.
We're talking about something that's basically you, but without the same rights.
And then there's the whole, what if AI gets too smart?
The Terminator scenario.
Exactly.
Funny enough, Voss isn't too worried about that.
Really?
He thinks it's way more likely that we'll have lots of different AIs,
Okay.
each one good at something specific.
So not one big evil AI, but like a whole bunch of smaller ones.
More like a team, working together, each with its own thing.
That does make me feel a bit better.
Right. It's not one giant AI calling all the shots.
But even with a team, there's still the question of, like, who's the coach?
Control, for sure, and making sure these AIs aren't just smart, but they're,
Good. Ethical.
exactly, that they're working for everyone's benefit.
Now, that's a big responsibility.
No kidding. And speaking of big, Voss also gets into AI predicting the future.
Ooh, no, that's a whole other thing.
Right, like, do we really want to know?
Maybe some things are better left unknown.
Maybe, but Voss, he brings up these cool physics ideas like chaos theory.
Chaos theory.
Like, you can never predict everything perfectly.
So even with super smart AI, we can't know exactly what's going to happen.
Exactly. The future's not set in stone,
But we can still make guesses, right? Like with the weather.
Right. Voss's AI can help us see different possibilities.
So it's less about knowing the future and more about understanding the options.
Precisely. It's about navigating the unknown, making the best choices we can with what we know.
Well, that's a pretty good way to wrap things up, I think.
Right. This AGI thing, it's a wild ride, but it's got so much potential.
For good and maybe for not so good.
Exactly. So we got to keep talking about it, keep asking the tough questions.
Absolutely. And listeners, that's where you come in.
That's right. What do you think about all this? Let us know.
This is one of those things that's going to affect all of us.
So let's figure it out together.
Awesome chat, as always.
Always a pleasure.
And listeners, thanks for diving deep with us. Keep those brains buzzing.